Alright, update, dialed in. Really, only a couple thoughts here. Mostly just one, but first off, SPY is still grinding away. We had the Fed meeting actually in here. We had the gap up the day before. And now since then we've kind of slowly just been selling off. Then we had the afternoon rally yesterday. Now morning gap. This is being filmed in the morning here. Morning gap down. So kind of typical SPY action. It only goes up forever, so we know what that's gonna do. Now, BLNK, number one on the hit list. Things were looking great. I was talking about this a few days ago. We had this beautiful, let me take a step back here. So I was talking about this level here, this 323 level. 323 and 305, I believe it was. 305. 323 and 305 were the levels I was working off of. So as we dial it in here, we had this nice green candle on some volume. Consolidation in here, right at the three, or consolidation more so just kind of holding support in here at this 305. And then as you see here, once we breached this 323 area, let me bring this in a little bit. We had this, actually let's keep it out here. We get through 323, make an attempt here, a little bit of a fade, a little bit of a push, kind of all in the same day here. But that was the beginning of this nice move. And then we had with this gap on SPY, we had the same kind of move on BLNK. We had the nice move over 323, and then into the next morning we had the gap and spike. And I was thinking, okay, this is great. Ideally we kind of chill out here a little bit in this 343, maybe 330 zone, and then we get that next big move. But we've had this ugly red candle yesterday, so we went from, green light special to now it's a little iffy. Now we're back below 323. We are still holding above 305, but like I said, that's bottom line. If it gets below that, this is done. Move on and assess, the damage and look to make another trade either on this later or something else, but no compromising on these stop loss levels. Now the moving averages actually kind of look nice in terms of it coming back and squeezing in at that 305 level. I don't really love that though. I really wanted to more so work off the 323, and I felt that was just more bullish and closer to these key breakout levels. I don't love it coming back to this 305 zone. So this went from, like an on-off kind of switch trade, because this is just ugly as hell. But if this can hold on, pop back above 320 and maybe start consolidating, it's just, you hate to see that, but not the end of the world. Again, always have to respect the stop loss. If this gets below 305, move on, don't care, just done with it. But if you look at this weekly 1 year, like I was talking about, this thing just looks really nice to me. We have this nice, this is just a quick little little visual here, but I mean, up in this up in this zone, these zones I'm talking about here. Actually, I don't even like to put this shit on. It messes with my visual. But this here, weekly 1 year, this to me looks really nice for an explosive move up to this 364, 420 zone, and probably beyond. I usually underestimate or I don't underestimate it, but I usually kind of get out before it has that huge move because I'm just more of a safe, conservative trader, which sometimes bites me in the ass, because if you look at Zim, like I talked about like 2 months ago, this thing frickin' went to the moon. But that's another story. This BLNK, though, I haven't given up on it yet, but it's close. But it is still the number one victim on the hit list. So if this pops back up, holds this 323, 330 zone, we could be going in for a monster. So number one, I talked about this GPS, this gap. I kind of just moved on from this. I never actually even participated in this. And I had said that. I kind of said it was maybe a mistake even bringing it up, but that's how it goes. Sometimes you like it and then you kind of fall out of love. So that was one of these. I talked about Piton. Again, a lot of things had that big gap up on that SPY gap day, and then we all just faded off the next day here, just like BLNK. This was, I mean, it's Peloton, so like I've said before, this thing's a piece of junk. I don't even feel good like thinking about longing it, but my eyes see a long here, especially now. Like I talked about the squeezing moving averages, then we had the gap pop here. So this isn't necessarily done. Kind of the same thing as BLNK. I would say the key levels here are this 360 zone, obviously, for a few reasons. Number one, this area back on 5/2/24, obviously big volume, kind of the beginning of this move. I think this might have been earnings. And then couple that with the moving averages, nice timely gap, which we see a lot when it squeezes and it gaps. So, there's potential, but low grade here. Low grade. This is like a C or a D. Now we got a couple others. These minors, I'm basically just a spectator at this point. It's I don't know, I just can't get my hands on these things. I was looking at, which one was I just looking at? This here, I was thinking, damn. Again, like I talk about these moving averages, I'm using the 20 and the 50 SMA. But again, we kind of had like a little squeezer, just like the Peloton I just showed you, and then the pop and go. Yeah, but I'm kind of done with these miners. This whole, like, anything Bitcoin related, it's just I don't know. There's too much craziness going on. Doesn't mean there's not opportunity. It's just I'm a little bit more old-fashioned in my approach here. AGBA. This is kind of just junk. It's not even worth a look. The one that I'm getting excited about here is this AFRM, a little bit higher price stock, but there's a story here. I believe Apple, some sort of integration with Apple and the AI and just that whole basket of keywords that spike stocks, AI and frickin' Apple, and all these anything linked to these Nvidias, Apples, Amazons of the world, there's definitely potential. So we had some, and obviously Apple had that crazy move a few days when it talked about its new AI crap. So this here, and this went with it. But what's really interesting is when you zoom out on this thing, this is a monthly 10-year. I mean, that's looking pretty exciting. We had a ton of volume back here, back in 2023 when it came off the bottom. And this, although it's not necessarily related, this 10-year monthly chart reminds me of this coin chart. Totally different name, but same time frame. And you can see, I don't know how this is going to look. If we overlap them, yeah, this, I never really do this, but if you see here the overlapped look, down here, it really looks similar. So this is getting me excited a bit here because you get the Apple news, you get the nice visual, you got a ton of volume. So zoom in here. Weekly 2 years, not as exciting, but what I'm thinking is we get a nice, first off, we'll keep an eye on Apple. This thing will probably just go up till it's frickin' $500 a share. So kind of like same thing with the SPY. Any of these big tech names, it's just go up forever, it seems. I've adopted that new mindset. Obviously I'm joking, but not really. So this AFRM, potentially pop, big gap, big volume. Not huge, but relative to what it's done. And now we're coming back into these moving averages. Nice level to play off. Couple that with, some key levels. It's below that. It's below this high. The top of this candle, 34.43. So that's 34.43. That's going to be a key. That's obviously going to be a key level. Let's look at where that is in here. 34.43 is basically right at the top of this green candle that kind of got this whole run started. But this is number 2 on the hit list. It's not ready yet, but this is one that we want to definitely keep our eyes on. This thing can get going. It's had some big moves in the past. I think this was something to do with Walmart. It had a big move with like Black Friday, Walmart or something. It buy now, pay later. So AFRM, we got BLNK and we got AFRM. Those are the two that we're hunting right now. I'd love to see this thing pop back up and hold. I really had high hopes for this. This candle's a little bit depressing, but this name historically is just a piece of junk that's super weak. I've played this name a few times over the years, and it just always seems to let me down. It's a very strong selling name, if that makes sense. But I really just, this weekly 1 year, it's hard to not see this as a big move to the upside, but you can't get emotionally connected. Like I said, below 305, just it's dead to us. So those are the two names on the hit list right now. We got to stay dialed in and just attack.